Hello future doctors and welcome. आज हम करने वाले हैं एक super fast revision of a really important chapter, chemical coordination and integration. So are your pens and papers ready? Let's get right into it.
Think about it this way. Our nervous system, it's like an instant email. It's lightning fast, right? A direct point-to-point connection. But the thing is, it can't reach every single cell in our body, and it's just not built for continuous long-term regulation. For functions like growth or metabolism, things that need constant management, we need a different system, something more like postal mail. Yeah, it's a bit slower, but its reach is widespread. It can deliver a message to every single cell, and that is exactly what our hormones do.
So let's dive deep into these chemical messengers and the system they belong to, the endocrine system. We're going to break it all down.
Okay, now this slide is super important. This is the modern scientific definition of a hormone, and you absolutely have to memorize this for your exam. So, what are hormones? Well, they're non-nutrient chemicals. They act as intercellular messengers, and get this, they're produced in tiny trace amounts. Remember that. They are messengers, not a source of energy.
Now for a fundamental concept that gets asked all the time. What's the difference between endocrine and exocrine glands? It's actually pretty simple. Endocrine glands are ductless. They don't have any pipes. They release their hormones directly into the bloodstream. Think of the pituitary gland. On the other hand, exocrine glands do have ducts, like our salivary glands that release saliva. Simple as that.
All right, let's talk about the body's top management. The glands that are basically running the whole show, commanding the entire endocrine system. Yep, we're talking about the hypothalamus and the pituitary.
The best way to understand their relationship is with a company analogy. So, picture this. The hypothalamus is the CEO of the company. It's at the very top giving all the strategic orders. And right below it is the pituitary gland, which is like the manager. It takes the CEO's orders and executes them, controlling all the other departments, which are, of course, the other glands. CEO and manager. Simple, right?
So how does the CEO actually give orders to the manager? Let's look at the chain of command. The hypothalamus makes two types of hormones: releasing hormones, which are basically the start signal, and inhibiting hormones, which are the stop signal. These hormones then travel through a special portal circulatory system, a direct line to the anterior pituitary, and they tell it exactly when to release a hormone or when to stop. And our manager, the anterior pituitary, follows these orders and produces all of these critical hormones. Just look at the names: thyroid-stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone. Their names literally tell you that they go on to stimulate or control other glands. And that's exactly why the pituitary is often called the master gland. Okay, buckle up. We're about to go on a rapid-fire tour of some other very important glands and their functions. Everything we're about to cover is extremely high yield for NEET. First up, the thyroid gland. It's located in our neck, and its main job is to control the body's basal metabolic rate, or BMR. In simple terms, it basically decides how fast or how slow your body uses energy. And this right here, this is a classic NEET question. To make thyroid hormones, you need iodine. So if there's a lack of iodine in your diet, the thyroid gland goes into overdrive trying to make hormones. It gets overworked and enlarges, and that condition is what we call goiter. You're going to want to mark this line.
Next, let's talk about the pancreas. Now, this is a composite gland, which means it has both exocrine and endocrine functions. But we're going to focus on its endocrine part, which is called the islets of Langerhans. This part is absolutely crucial for balancing our blood sugar.
Inside the pancreas, we have two superstar cells: alpha cells, which make glucagon, and beta cells, which make insulin. And they do completely opposite things. Insulin lowers blood glucose levels, so we call it a hypoglycemic hormone. Glucagon, on the other hand, raises blood glucose, so it's a hyperglycemic hormone. And it's a deficiency of insulin that leads to diabetes mellitus.
Now let's get into some action. Meet the adrenal gland, which sits right on top of our kidneys like a little cap. This gland prepares us for emergency situations. Its inner part, the adrenal medulla, is what releases the famous fight-or-flight hormones. Just imagine a tiger suddenly appears in front of you. What happens inside your body? Well, your alertness shoots up, your heart starts pounding, you breathe faster, you get goosebumps, that's piloerection, and your pupils dilate. All of this is the magic of adrenaline and noradrenaline, getting you ready to either fight or run for your life. So, we've seen what hormones do, but the big question is, how do they actually deliver their message to the target cells?
Let's take a closer look at their mechanism of action.
The key thing to remember here is that there are two main ways this happens. Protein hormones, like insulin, can't get inside the cell, so they bind to a receptor on the cell membrane and send a second messenger inside to get the job done. But steroid hormones, like testosterone, well, they're like VIPs. They can walk right into the cell, straight to the nucleus, and interact directly with the genome, the DNA, to give their orders.
All right, it's time for the final lap. Let's solidify everything we've learned with a quick, rapid-fire round. Are you ready?
First question, what deficiency causes goiter? Think about it.
Yes, that's it. It's caused by an iodine deficiency, which is essential for making thyroid hormones, and that leads to hypothyroidism.
Okay, next one. Which hormone is hyperglycemic, meaning which one raises blood sugar?
Absolutely correct. It's glucagon, and its opposite, the hypoglycemic hormone, is insulin.
And for our final revision question, what are the hormones of fight or flight?
You got it. Adrenaline, also called epinephrine, and noradrenaline, which is also known as norepinephrine.
And that's a wrap on our express revision. We'll leave you with a final thought to chew on. These hormones control everything from our mood to our metabolism. So, are you really in control, or are your hormones pulling the strings? Think about it. Keep up your preparation with full power. For more Visual Express notes just like this one, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. All the very best, future doctors.